Welcome everybody. It's been a couple weeks off, but glad to see everyone back at the track again here for our All-Star Race evening at the 280 Truck Series. Drivers currently out on track for qualifying at the moment. We've got a great night of short track racing action planned for you. Fortunately, weren't able to broadcast last week's Kentucky race, but I am informed that it was quite an excellent race. A lot of beating and banging and a lot of grudges, and we'll see if some of those carry over to tonight, where points don't matter quite so much. It's just for pride and bragging rights here at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. The drivers are going to go at it in 2 heat races, followed by a main feature, and those heat races will decide starting lineup for the final, and it should be a pretty exciting race. Going to be nice short racing action where drivers are going to have to do what they can to get to the front in as quick as possible. Let's go ahead and get our race screen pulled up and get ready to roll here for feature 1. 16 drivers in the field tonight. Last time we saw these drivers here on track live was back at our hurricane relief race, and we appreciate everyone who donated for that. It was excellent. We exceeded our intended goal for the GoFundMe for veterans and their families affected by the recent hurricanes, so that was awesome to see. And again, thank you for everyone who donated and everyone who was involved in setting that up. Of course, Zach Miller, our league organizer, and several others involved in that. It was absolutely fantastic to be able to do that and be a small part of it. Of course, put on a show for everyone watching as well. Just wrapping up pre-race here. Should see drivers on track at any moment. But our venue tonight, North Wilkesboro Speedway. I suppose we should probably get our proper cameras loaded for this event. All right, there is our pace truck. Drivers are going to start trickling onto the grid. It'll be divided 8 and 8 for the heat races here. Still plenty of cars on this tighter circuit to have plenty of action. Looks like Blake Kelly's going to lead him to the start with Ad Sal's on the outside, that number 51 machine. Alan Blue in the number 23 is for some reason numberless car to the inside. Doug Argerbright in the 41 to the outside. The second row. Inside third row is going to be, or sorry, outside third row is going to be Greg Burchett. Inside third row is going to be Justin Bassett. Devin Maines in the 5. Different looking paint scheme this week, looking mighty fine in that silver and gold for SSR and of course US Army Esports. And rounding out the field is going to be Randall Peasley in that number 63. Back in 8th spot. Gonna be Blake Kelly leading him to the start. Should see the pace truck peel off in a moment. North Wilkesboro, a .625 mile oval North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Historic track, and we're hoping to have some historic battles of our own here tonight as Blake Kelly gets ready to lead him off. Green flag in the air. Kelly out by a car length over Sal's. Sal's clears the inside, gonna handily take second spot. Argerate follows him through on the outside. Kelly off to a good start so far. Still leads by 3 car lengths over Sal's. Jumping back here, Alan Blue under fire from the 442 of Justin Bassett. And Devin Maines following right behind. Bassett goes to the outside. Maines trying to pick a lane. He's going to follow Bassett to the outside. Both U.S. Army Esports looking to route the number 23 of Alan Blue. Rough start so far. Just 20 laps to decide this race. Can't lose too much track position because it's going to be hard to make up. Side by side still. Alan's not going to let Devin have it. At least not easily. He's going to defend for now to start pulling a gap out from the number 5. Front still Kelly, but South has got a mirror full of Doug Argabright. That bright gold McDonald's machine closing on the 51. Lap 5 down, 5 laps down already a quarter of the way through this heat race. Wide exit there for the 51. See a couple different lines at play between the 41 and the 51. Argabright choosing to bring a wide arc into the corner and get a shallow drive straight off the corner. Different approach from the 51. He sends it deep down to the inside, painting that white line as we see Peasley possibly make contact with pit wall on the inside. We'll go back to our replay and see what happened with Randall. Maybe just got loose off the corner. Very easy to do. Oh, got a piece of the curb. Bounced it off the wall. Just keeps it off pit wall by maybe an inch now, and then does a burnout into the wall. It's all good. Doesn't look like any real damage to that Silverado. Should be able to get it rolling and back going again. So Blake's Kelly in the number 7 machine leading the way. For our hearse first. Well, might need a hearse, depends on how this ends. But for our first heat race of the night, that Sugarland Shine number 7 machine out front for all 6 laps so far. It'll be interesting to see what the 2 behind him do this time around. Lessons learned from the last start of the race. See if maybe they elect to run a different line on the restart. Kyle, we see you shouting out Blake from pit lane. Thanks for tuning in as you're waiting to fire off. Hopefully we have you in this race this evening. I suppose I didn't check the full qualifying order. Lights are off on the pace truck. We will go green next time by. Shout out to everyone watching. Good to have you back. I know it's been a couple weeks off, but we're ready to get back into it. Ready to get back to some hot racing action here in North Carolina. Once again, Blake Kelly on the front row. Outside front row is going to be Ed Sal's in the 51. Can Doug Argabright do anything from the second row? Sal's fires off. A little bit of a tire spin, it looks like, for Argabright on the inside. Kelly's able to clear. Sliding up in front of the 51 is Kelly. Sal's in second place, sends it to the outside in turn 3. Not quite going to make it stick off the corner. It's going to be Kelly by 3 off of turn 4. Back down in turn 1, Justin Bissett taking the fight to Doug Argabright for 3rd. Holding strong on the outside. They're side by side, door to door into 3. Argabright hoping to maybe bog down his computer with that shiny, reflective McDonald's machine. I can tell you one thing, Justin Bissett is probably not loving it right about now. Just hoping to get by that number 41, who's putting up a heck of a fight on the inside lane. I'll just see Devin Maines, massive slide behind, doesn't look like any contact. Go back and see if he had any assistance or if that was just a self-spin. Maybe got in a little bit too hot and just lost the back end. Good job hanging on to that. No harm, no foul, but that's going to shave quite a few laps off of this already short heat race. He's going to bring it down for service and likely 4 fresh tires on that number 5 machine. After a big slide like that. Still Blake Kelly out front, followed by Ed Salz, Doug Argabright, Justin Bissett, Alan Blue, Randall Peasley up to 6th now. He's up 2 spots on the day. Greg Burchett running P7. And Devin Maines, of course, on pit road. He's probably going to be out of this one. Is probably going to lose a lap here. But we will see how it shakes out. Halfway through this race now. Just crossing to lap 10 of 20 in this first heat race. Lights go out on the pace truck. We're going to get the 1 to go signal. It's going to be Kelly leading them to the start again on that inside line. We'll see if the 442 of Bissett has anything for Argabright this time. Held strong on the outside last time, but was not able to complete the pass. But a great battle nonetheless. We'll fire off once again here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Kelly on the gas. Great start for Salz on the outside. He's still got a fender on the quarter panel of the 7. The 7's not going to let it happen, though. He's going to clear him off of 2. Much better start for Argabright as well. Salz gets a little bit of the wall down the back stretch. That's going to give the 41 the inside lane. Salz hanging on to the outside. Argabright to the inside. Shallow entry for Argabright. Going to lose a little bit of time there through 1 and 2. Slow exit off of 3 and 4. That's what the 442 behind him wants to see. He wants another shot at that gold number 41. Back up front, Ed Salz. Focus forward again, looking at the rear end of that number 7, trying to figure out how to get by. Slides mid-corner. That's going to allow Doug Argabright another shot at the back end of the 51. Sending it in there for all it's worth. Gets a little bit of curb there. Washes him up the racetrack. Argabright to the inside. Door to door across the line. Argabright gets in too deep. Slides. Gathers it up. Not going to lose a spot just yet. Going to give the chance to Bissett, though. His tire's not going to be happy after that either. These tires very sensitive to heat. Too much sliding, and it's not going to be a fun time for you because it's hard to cool them down, especially at the short track like this without long straightaways. There's really no opportunity to cool those tires once you've scrubbed them enough to build up heat like that. Comfortable lead for the 7 and 51 now. Blake Kelly just out for a cruise at this point. Taking a look at the interval, it's going to be 1.4 second gap for Kelly. Further back in the field, the 5 of Devin Maines gets by the 442 for 4th spot, marching back forward after that early spin. And marching he continues to do, starting to close in on Doug Argabright for that 3rd spot. 17 laps down. Coming now to 3 to go in heat number 1. It's All-Star Evening here for the 280 Truck Series. Oh, and a spin up front. Sals gets sideways. Oh, and Maines just barely squeezes it through before Sals comes back down the racetrack. Move Devin Maines up a spot, and also Doug Argabright. Big implications here as far as their starting order goes for the feature. Not sure if we'll get a chance at a green-white checker here, or if this heat is going to end under caution. Not sure why it said Maines crashed. I think my timing and scoring may be having some issues. I believe that was the case. Sal's going to head to pit lane for some fresh tires. That number 51. And more than likely join Peasley in the lap down club. Take a look at Sal's to see the field just exiting turn 2. Jack is up on that car on the right side. Up on the left side now. He looks like he's gonna keep his lap. As the rest of the field files off of turn 4. Changing the order up front, not for the lead, but that second row looks entirely different than it did last time around. It's going to be the 41 joining Blake Kelly in the front row, and it's going to be Devin Maines and Justin Bissett making up that second row. Do they have anything for the Sugarland's Shine number 7 machine? Looks like we're going to go back. We're going to have a chance at a green-white checkered. So we're going to rack them and stack them, and they're going to have 2 laps to sort this out amongst themselves. The whole field's going to get bunched up. We'll see if we get bumpers involved. Like I said, no points on the line tonight, just bragging rights. We'll see what these drivers are willing to do. Here at the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Gonna get the 1 to go this time. Argabright assumes his position on the outside of the front row. Maines to the inside of the second row, followed by Bissett on the outside. Alan Blue is going to be the inside row 3, followed by Ed Sal's on the outside. What can Sal's do? Can Sal's make up a couple spots here before the finish? This front row ready to rock and roll already. The rest of the field still getting in order. Not sure what's going on back there, but we're under green anyways. Bassett's sleeping on the start. Overdrives it into turn one. Argerbright thinks he might be able to make it work on the outside. Can he get to the quarter panel? Not quite. Kelly's going to clear him into turn three. A little bit of a slide there. Gets a piece of the curb for the 41. Cold tires. These guys have to be really careful off of turn four. It gets slick in a hurry. Argerbright keeping Kelly. Kelly's going to claim it. That was the last lap. I'm losing track of laps myself. And just like that, we're stacking up for heat two. Kelly hangs on just barely over Doug Argerbright to claim the win in heat number one. What are we going to see for heat number two? We got Kyle Nadeau leading them off. We got Zach Laugen to the outside of row one. Inside of row two, we got Josh Emerson at 73 with Zach Miller to the outside. Inside row four, we got Sean Sullivan in the number 2 Coast Guard machine with his teammate in the 22. Roz is on the outside, followed by Knapp and Bell, forming the final row of the field. But it's going to be the Canadian leading the way. It's going to be Kyle Nadeau showing them how it's done here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Getting ready to roll. The pace lights are off on the pace truck. Green flag in the air. We're underway for heat two. Big stack up back in row three. Top three breakout. It's going to be Nadeau in first, followed by Zach Laugen on the outside. He's going to try to get some... Trying to make it stick. Can't make it stick off of two. Oh! The 73 goes around. That's going to be Josh Emerson. He goes in the fence. I believe possibly collects Miller back there. I'm not sure who that was. That might have been Nick Ross. Yes. Front end of that truck absolutely ruined. Let's go back and have a look at that accident. We saw Emerson get big time loose. We saw Zach Laugen in the 24 get way up high. Had to completely get out of the throttle to avoid wrecking. But look at that 73 down on the inside. He's going to send it shallow into turn four. Under brakes, just loses the back end as we saw a couple times last race. Nowhere for the 22 to go, just broadsides the 73 and totals the front end of that, the number 22 F-150. Luckily, your leader just somehow escaped that. A little bit of contact was made, but I don't see any damage on that number 97. And seemingly miraculously did not get out of shape after making contact mid-corner. So Kyle Nadeau going to retain the lead. Zach Laugen was able to gather up his mistake. He's going to retain second place. Zach Miller third place. Fourth is going to be Sean Sullivan in the 2. Looks like Nick is going to elect to run it as is. Really no time for repairs. Lights off on the pace truck once again. Nadeau gonna elect to start on the outside this time, which is a bit surprising. Also surprising is that I can't focus on the right truck. Here we go, back to the front. Green flag is out, massive jump for Nadeau. Sullivan sends it deep, makes up 2 spots into turn 1. What a send by the number 2, who had complete faith in the tires and brakes on that truck. And it paid off as we see Miller get a little bit of contact with Bell in the back. Both drivers keeping it tidy, though, gathering it back up and keeping on. But it's still Nadeau out front by 3 car lengths. Laugen pushing as hard as possible, trying to make up that ground, running that mid lane, followed by his teammate, Sean Sullivan in the 2. Down to just a single car length now for the lead. Laugen trying to make that outside work, getting a good run off the corner, but can't quite figure out how to get the momentum off the corner. Keep the momentum as Nadeau slides up and blocks any progress. Multiple grooves to this racetrack, but it does come at a price to your tires and your brakes. As we've seen multiple times, drivers sending it in too hard down low results in you getting very loose. These seams between lanes on the racetrack can be treacherous as well and upset the balance of your race car. All things for these drivers to consider. Both drivers start to ease off just a little bit. Laugen trying to figure out what to do with this 97, squaring them up, hoping maybe he can find a mistake to take an advantage of. Both of these drivers pulling out to a considerable lead on the field. Assuming the car is just undrivable at this point for Nick Rossi, he's going to hit pit lane. Take that number 22 machine in for service. But his night is not over yet. Gonna have another shot at the main feature. Just gonna have to figure it out from the rear. Still a 2-car race up front, back in the pack a little bit. Let's jump back on the on board with the number 2. Sullivan and Miller starting to close in on each other on track. Miller's going to send it way to the outside and try to swing it down for a good run off the corner. He's going to get it close within half a car length. Deep into turn 3 and 4. Will he be able to get it turned back down for a good exit? Not quite this time. He's going to lose ground coming off of 4. We saw the spin early, but slowly creeping back in the picture is the number 73. He's still got 8 laps to make up a couple spots here. He's going to start looking to the inside of Miller for pit spot. I take it back. Miller's going to deny. He's going to get sent down to the inside while Miller tries to go to the inside of Sullivan, and that's going to cost the 73 again. Miller to the outside wall off of 4. It's turning into a bumper cars race out here. 42 a nap. Benefits from Emerson's misfortune, which just seems to be continuing. Meanwhile, back out front, Nadeau with a massive lead over second place. Closing in on that second place, the number 14. We haven't seen Crank Bell out front all day, but he's in the picture now. He's closing in on that number 24. Completely sideways for the second time off of turn 2 for Laugen. He's got no right rear tire left in that truck. He's putting it all out there. But can he hold on for 5 more laps? Loose in the back for the 24, loose in the front. We see Bell pedal it all the way to the outside wall, trying to hang on to that 14 truck as it had a massive slide in the front end. Close right to the rear bumper of the 24, but Bell not able to do anything with him. Every time he gets momentum, he just loses it off the corner, just like we saw there. Not quite able to make it stick. He's going to look to the inside out of 4. Laugen's going to keep it tidy, though, and still maintain that position. To the inside again for the 14. Not going to get the drive off. 24 clears him again. That midline working great defensively for the 24, as we've seen it all day. A little bit of contact there. We're going to see the caution come out. It's going to be 22 into the fence. We'll go ahead and take a look back at the replay and figure out what happened with Nick. Midas got loose off of 4. Loose under braking and pounds the pit road wall into turn 1. That left front's not going to be too happy after that. Well, from a massive 2-second gap down to a no-second gap, Nadeau's going to have a fight on his hands if he wants to win heat number 2. Series, of course, sponsored by 614 Designs. That's run by our series organizer, Zach Miller. If you're looking for iRacing designs, custom designs for your ride, go ahead and hit him up either on Instagram or Trading Paints at those handles down in the bottom banner. Zach courteous enough to sponsor this season of racing, which, of course, we greatly appreciate. We've had a lot of fun so far this season, and we're only halfway through. Lead the field back to green is going to be Kyle Nadeau in the 97, followed by Zach Laugen in the 24. Crank Bell still maintaining that 3rd spot. We'll see if he's got anything for Laugen this time around. Laugen's teammate, Sean Sullivan, in the 2 Coast Guard machine. He's going to start 4th position. He'll be the outside of the 2nd row. Barry Knapp in the 42 starting to make up some spots after starting in the last row of the field. Up to 5th now. Zach Miller falling back a few spots since the beginning. He's running 6th. Josh Emerson and Nick Rousey both a lap down or more after spins early, and another recent spin for Emerson. Nadeau once again going to elect for that outside lane. Maybe a little bit better grip on the restarts. We've seen the inside lane spin on the restart a couple times now. We saw it last heat with Arga Bright before the finish. Nadeau maybe electing to get fire off a little bit better at risk of possibly having a driver to the inside. But he's going to lead him to green again. Here we go. Firing off is Nadeau. Big wheel spin for Zach Laugen in 2nd. He's going to hang on to the spot for now, but his teammates on the outside. Sean Sullivan to the outside in turn 2. He's going to slide in line in third. Frank Bell, if he can't pass the 24, maybe he can get by the 2. He's looking to the inside of Sullivan. He's going to get alongside the quarter panel into 1. Being careful not to overdrive, as we've seen a few guys do already, and get that rear end kicked out, as he does off the corner. Still maintains side by side. 24 almost being a pick here for the 2. Bell with nowhere to go. He's got a Coast Guard machine to the inside, a Coast Guard machine to the outside. That is going to be the finish of the race, and the Doe hangs on to win it after a big wheel spin on the start for Laugen. Miller thinking the 97 looked a little bit too clean in the back end. Gives him a little love tap after the finish. You love to see it. And a bit of a mix-up here. Not a mix-up by accident. We're going to go inverted grid order for the feature. That's why you see Nick Rossi in the 22. He's going to lead him to green this time around. Greg Burchett's going to start off in second. And your feature winners, the number 97 and 7, are going to round out the back of the field in 15th and 16th. We'll see if they can march their way to the front in the main feature here. Should be a very interesting race. We get to see a little bit of action from the guys who are hanging on to the tail end of the field. And we're going to invert the order, and it's going to be interesting because we might have to get a little argy-bargy to get to the front of the field for a lot of these drivers. We should see these bumpers, these nice clean trucks that look so good after the first and second heat. We might see a few scuffs and dents and dings by the time we get done with this main feature, if they have a hope of getting all the way to the front. We've got a 100-lap feature set up for you. This is going to be a little bit of a longer race than the first 2 qualifying heats, so they do have time. But do they want to take their time? That's the question. Back up at the front, it's Nick Rossi leading him to the start. Greg Burchett to the outside. Josh Emerson to the inside, row 2. Randall Peasley to the outside in that number 63. Ed Salz the outside, row 4. Barry Knapp to his inside. We're going to get ready to go green here. Next time by. Jump the gun a little bit on the start. Let's see. Zach Miller is going to be inside row 5. Alan Blue to his outside. Sorry, that'll be Sean Sullivan inside row 5, I believe. I don't know. These drivers aren't quite closed up on each other, having a hard time seeing what rows what. But hey, we'll sort it out in the race. That's what it's for. We're going green. Wheel spin for everybody on the start. Second row goes evasive. Rossi Rex Emerson right off the bat. Not sure what happened there. Just absolutely lost control with massive wheel spin on the start. We make it about 100 yards, and we're under yellow already here in the main. If you're following along in chat, go ahead and drop how many cautions you think we're going to see in this main feature, because I think it's going to be a bit of a high number. And the first half of the lap supports my hypothesis. But what do you think? Also interested to see in which of these drivers is going to make it from the rear. We got Bell down a couple laps already. Let's go back and take a look at the replay here. Massive wheel spin on the start for the 22. And the 63. 63 hits the outside wall. The 73 goes to the inside. 22 still doesn't have it under control. We see fire out of the tailpipes. He's lifting. He's flipping the throttle, trying to get it under control, and just happens to tag the 73 who evaded to the inside. And unfortunately, that's going to be pretty hard contact to the outside wall for Josh Emerson already. The rest of the field behind, scattering, going everywhere. See what happened. Crank Bell looks like he might have started from the pits. Unsure what happened with Bell. Possibly. Not the worst idea, because he's got a clean truck, and several other drivers don't. Looks like the 14 and 73 may be getting a wave around. That they do. They're going to head around the pace car. We're going to fire off again. This time with inverted order. It's going to be Burchett leading him to green. Rossi to the outside. Barry Knapp inside row 2, followed by Ed Sales on the outside. Pace truck is off. We're ready to go green. Green flag in the air. Burchett leads him off. Much cleaner start this time. 22 to the outside. Burchett to the inside. Sal's going to send it to the inside of the 22 of Rossi. He's going to take over second place. Contact at the outside of the wall for Rousey. Struggling back in the 22 as we see a massive gain. Massive move to the outside for Laugen. Not hanging around the back very long. He's making a mad dash to the front as we see big contact behind. Devin Main's involved. We see maybe contact for Nadeau. Taking a look back. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the 5 might be getting a little bit loose. We got some internet connection issues on the outside for Peasley. It looks like a non-factor, though. Looks like it's going to come down to turn 1. That's Mains to the inside. Just not enough room. Peasley closes in, pinches the inside. The 442 comes down into the 5. And nothing for the 5 to do. Just gets hit in the right rear and hooked into the fence. Looks like pretty heavy left front damage for Nadeau as well. That's going to relegate him to pit road at some point. Nadeau off pit road. Main still in for service. Both drivers having to use those fast repairs early in this event. So goes the excitement of inverted order racing. It's good to see some of these guys out front get a shot at racing to the front, and it mixes up the field a lot. You get a lot of bold moves 3 wide. Some of the faster drivers trying to get back to the front from the rear of the field. Still a big shout out to Zach Laugen. That move to the outside 3 wide was really, really good. Got himself all the way back up to 7th. So far, he's the furthest one up the field of the top running drivers in the qualifying heats. Making moves early. A lot of speed out of that 24. His teammate Sullivan in the 2 right behind him. Margaret Bright Kelly. First and second in the first heat. Still back in 11th and 12th. Huge gains already for Laugen. Up 6 spots from the start of the feature. Plenty of time for these drivers to make up ground. They'll work just going to be crossing into lap 13 of 100 here at North Wilkesboro. Once again, Greg Burchett leads him to the start. Decent launch to the inside. 51's going to hold true, though. Way to the inside for Burchett. Sal's marches around him and to the lead. To a commanding lead already. Meanwhile, behind, we got Rossi, we got Burchett under fire. Oh, Rossi goes around. Blue involved. That's going to stack up several cars throughout the field. Take a look at what happened here. Oh, let's try that again. So Rossi on the outside gets in the corner pretty hot, washes way up the track. I think he just got in the marbles, lost the rear end of the truck. Blue already committed to the exit, already back to the throttle, nowhere to go. We see great evasiveness from Sullivan in the 2 down to the bottom. Just very, very narrowly avoids that. Same with the 7. Look at that. Absolutely outstanding. We're going to have to go back and take a look at this from the view of the 7. Let's jump on board with Blake Kelly and see what he saw out of the windshield of that 7 Sugarland Shine machine. This just looks like pandemonium ahead of him. We'll see how this develops. It was just that close. Missed by maybe 5 inches. Maybe 5 inches. Great driving by Blake Kelly in that machine. Keep himself unscathed after that wreck. Look at that. Already up to the 2nd row is Sean Sullivan, followed by his teammate. Team Puddle Jumpers getting it done here for the All-Star race. Excellent drive out of both these guys so far. We're getting ready to go green again. Sal's going to lead him on the outside. He fires off, gets a massive jump on the start. The battle's going to be for 2nd. Sullivan looking to the inside of Burchett. Burchett's got a bit of speed, just takes a little bit to fire off. Washes up the track a little bit. He's going to go for the exit speed here, cuts it back down. He's going to hold 2nd for now. But it's still the 2 of Sullivan to the inside. He's going to send it into turn 1. Door-to-door and off at 2 as we see his teammate Laugen get collected. As well as several other cars. That's going to be our 4th caution of the race so far. Let's go back and take a look at what happened yet again. See Laugen get loose off the corner, a little too heavy on the loud pedal. Just slides it down into Barry and Knapp. Nowhere for him to go, just gets broadsided Unfortunately, probably going to come back up the track here. Not quite. It actually gets it mowed down pretty good. Doesn't look like any major damage. A little bit of right front aero damage for that 42, but the steering still looks straight. See if he elects to come down and get that truck serviced, or if he's going to let it ride. Save that fast repair for later. Taking a look, it looks like Nadeau might have got a bit of damage in that incident as well. We see the right front and the left rear both with a little bit of damage on that machine. Ready to fire off out front. Ed Sal's going to lead him to the green yet again, followed by Burchett, Argabright, Sullivan. Big tire spin from all three of the front runners on the inside lane. That's going to give an advantage to Sal's right off the bat. Argabright following in second place. Stacked up side by side, 3 rows deep for third. Miller has it. Justin Bissett wants it. Big slide on corner entry for Burchett, just barely hanging on to it there. He's got it hung out, doing all he can to stay up with the leaders. This far into the run, these guys definitely starting to see a little bit of wear on these tires. These tires are getting hot and slick as we see Burchett spinning down into the grass. He gets it gathered up, but we're going to be under caution. So we had a bit of an incident with Alan Blue as well. Almost like the track is greased up. We saw several cars go around there. We had that the 73 of Josh Emerson spun out in front of him, and then Alan Blue ran around behind, and both of these right after Burchett got really sideways through that corner as well. Big winner on all that was Kyle Nadeau, though. Picked up 5 spots just on that restart with all the trouble for the other drivers. Ed Sal's came in for pit service. He threw fresh tires on this truck, giving up that track position. Several drivers to the pits. Looks like Zach Miller, Ed Sal's, Alan Blue. Gonna be Doug Argabright leading him to green this time. Pace lights are out on the pace truck. The Argabright to the outside. Justin Bissett to the inside. That U.S. Army Ford F-150. Green flag in the air. Argabright out front. He easily clears Bissett for second. Sullivan assumes second place. Able to drive right by Justin. And now it's Craig Bell wanting that spot. Bell being challenged by Maines. Caution out yet again. Back in the rear, a little bit of an issue here. We had a pileup. They went 3 wide. Beasley sideways to the inside. Ozzie loses it on the backstretch. Not sure what happens there. Alan Blue involved yet again. Just cannot catch a break in this feature. That's going to be our 6th caution flag of the race thus far. Hopefully we can manage to get a longer run in before the end of this event and see what some of these drivers have on old tires, what they can do. We'll see how valuable those new tires are, how long it takes them to plateau and start to even out with the drivers that stayed out. Plenty of questions and plenty of time to answer them here at North Wilkesboro Speedway for our All-Star main feature. So far, it's Argabright out front. Ed Salz was out front. He came in for tires. He's back in 12th position now, picking up a couple spots already on that last restart. Zach Laugen with a bit of trouble. He's fallen back down to 11th after being on the second row for just a little while, a couple restarts ago. It's been musical positions so far. The very caution-laden main feature for our all-star event. Argabright going to change it up this time. He's going to fire off on the inside. Still gets a massive jump. He's going to clear Bissett by 2 car lengths. Bissett to the outside. The battle's going to be for 4th. Sean Sullivan to the inside of Craig Bell for 4th spot. Sullivan going to hold him off for now. Bell going to go to the outside this time. Sends it deep. Sullivan loses it off the corner. He's going to go around. Pounds the pit lane wall. That's going to bring out caution number 7. Let's put a number on this. I'm going to go with 15 cautions. And if you're out there in YouTube land and feel like you're taking a guess at the over-under on that, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. And also who you think is going to win this event. I honestly have no idea what to think at this point because we've seen just about everybody get sideways and spin at some point in this event so far. Nobody is safe, so it would seem. Obviously, Argabright looking all right. Wait a minute. Did Argabright disconnect? I believe Argabright might have disconnected. May have lost internet connection. Your leader may have just dropped out of the event. Highly unfortunate. Not the first time we've seen it this year. See if maybe I can get a word with him if he's in our driver chat. Looks like he dropped out of there as well, so maybe total internet loss for Doug Argerbright. Unfortunate turn of events here for the All-Star race, but that's going to give that lead to Justin Bissett. He's going to find himself outside for the out front for the first time in the feature. That really shiny number 5. Devin Maines following up behind. We'll see a couple new faces up here in the front. Duking it out. Craig Bell up to 3rd now after the pit cycle. Drivers who pit this time. Argerbright looks like he was going to pit before dropping connections. Sean Sullivan to the pits. Nick Rossi pit. Zach Laugen to the pits. It's lap 39. Josh Emerson. Barry Knapp. Other drivers who have pit slightly more recently were Alan Blue, Zach Miller, and Ed Sowles. These drivers out front. Justin has not pit yet this race. He has yet to pit, as has Greg Burchett, also has yet to come to pit lane. All these drivers around them pit before lap 10, so they are all on older Goodyear rubber. We'll see how that works out for them. We're going to fire off this time. Lights are out on the pace truck. We're getting ready to go green once again. Bissett going to elect fire on the outside lane. It's going to be Devin Maines to the inside, Blake Kelly to the outside, Frank Bell on the inside of the second row, and look who's coming back to the front. That number 97, Kyle Nadeau. But it's going to be Bissett leading them to green. A good start for Devin Maines on the inside. Haven't seen that too much so far. Almost going to hold position. Going to get back alongside off for turn 2. Going to hold position into 3. Maines to the inside. Bissett to the outside. 7 to Blake Kelly looking for room. Maines to the lead as we go under caution again. I believe Maines had the position at the time of caution. I'm unsure of the source of that caution. A lot of these drivers probably seeing stars here in the All-Star event as we see our 10th caution come out after Randall Peasley gets down into Allen Blue and kicks off another caution here on lap 60. Zach Miller going to come in for service. We're in the heart of moonshine country here in North Wilkesboro County, but luckily we're not hauling moonshine in the back of these race trucks, or I have a feeling there'd be a lot of wasted product on track at this point in the evening. Lights are off on the Page truck. Zach Loudon going to fire from the outside this time with his teammates starting just behind. Green flag back out again on lap 63. Good start for Loudon. Sullivan's going to come through to P2. Barry Knapp falls back to third, but he's got company from Devin Maines on the outside. Maines fires it off into turn one, gets alongside, might clear him here for third if he can get a good run off, and he's going to. Devin Maines up to third, and in the same move, he was going to look to the inside of the two, but Sullivan blocks. Frank Bell following him through. He's going to take that fourth spot from Knapp. Caution is out behind yet again. Big stack up midfield. It's like Nick might get a little help here. Not sure what happened. Lost it off of 4. Gets a little bit of help off the nose of the 51. Caution number 11 of the night comes here at lap 66. I am very tempted to take the over on that 15 caution estimate at this point. Still very unsure of who might take this thing, because it has been calamity, to say the least. Here's an idea. We could always take these trucks just outside the track. We could take them to Route 421 and take them out on the freeway and have a race there. Give them a little more space to breathe. I don't know. Strong showing so far, though, for these puddle jumpers cars, the 22 or 24 and the 2. Pretty solidly up front all night. Did really well in their heat, and also hanging strong out front here in the feature. Look back through the field. Blake Kelly in that 7 up quite a few spots. The 97, Kyle Nadeau up at quite a few spots as well. 10 and 8 spots respectively. But the big mover of the night so far, up 12 spots. That's that number 24 who leads the field right now, having an absolute great race so far, despite the issues that many drivers have faced so far in the night with 11 cautions. Bit of a mix in the field. We got the new tires and the old tires, all sorts of mixed up after the calamity of the restart. Which means one thing. It's going to be exciting yet again. Once again, Laugen's going to fire on the inside, hopefully not spin the tires. We'll see what the 5 can do behind him on the inside. Bell's going to be strong on the outside. We know that already, and he's got the 7 behind him. Laugen fires off. He's going to clear his teammate. No, a little bit of wheel spin. Sullivan starts coming back on the outside. They're side by side. The 42 spins to the inside. Back into the field for Barry Knapp. Maybe. Caution out yet again. That is going to be caution number 12 as the pace truck leaves pit lane. We may have to change the tires and refuel the pace truck soon. Or else risk another pace car calamity like they had in the Real Life Cup Series race last weekend. Green flag out yet again. Laugen fires off. It's going to be his teammate to the outside. Sullivan in the 2. Big slide for the 14. Crank Bell on the inside, but he's going to hold strong on the inside of the 2 for second. Bell going to assume second place. He's going to slide up in front of Sullivan. Looking to the inside. Oh, going to be a slide from the 2. The 7 going around as well. Pandemonium erupting behind the leaders. Terrible news for Sean Sullivan in the 2. Just sent it in too deep and got spun off the door of the 7. Caution number 12 comes out at lap 77. Plenty to see on that. Want to go ahead and look at the replay. You see up front the 2 get sideways, look farther back. Drivers try to avoid, the 7 gets involved. 31, Zach Miller pounds the outside wall and gets hit several times. It's like Blake Kelly had some contact as well, but no apparent damage on the 7 machine. Well, I'm going to say this. If I'm Zach Laugen, I'm going to want to stay out front at all costs because being any farther back than second place seems like a death sentence at this point. Another spot gain for the 97 of Nadeau back in the second row now. Having a shot at the top spot for the first time in quite a while in this race after a rough start. And you think this is a lot of wrecks. We're going to Talladega next week for our next points race, but Laugen's going to fire off here on lap 79, going to lap 80. Big slide into the corner for the 24. It's going to be 14 holding strong outside. He's going to be alongside Laugen coming off of turn 2. Bell to the outside, Laugen to the inside. Maines thought about sending it to the inside, making it 3 wide. Thought better of it. Look at that 97 slinging it to the outside in turn 1. Will he get to the outside of the 14? His teammate. Oh, the 5. Maines is going to go around. 7 just barely avoids it. The 42 gets it in the back end of the field. How quickly things change. You had the teammates of Sullivan and Laugen out front for the longest time, first and second. Now we got another pair of teammates out front, the 14 and 97, Bell and Nadeau. Inside of 20 laps to go in this race now. That's going to be caution number 14 of the night so far, coming on lap number 82. Almost to that 15 caution estimate. But we've still got quite a few laps to go as this race is gone. Another driver coming back out front after leading quite a bit of the race early on is going to be Ed Sals in the number 51. Blake Kelly somehow avoiding wrecks like no one else has been able to do all night. That 7 truck still looking clean after a lot of close calls and still in the top 4 here, but it's going to be Crank Bell and Kyle Nadeau out front. No, Nadeau with a disconnect. Nadeau's out of the race. Scratch that. He's still there. Just really bad connection issues. Luckily, pops back in right before the start. Gonna be a bad start, though. He's gonna spin the tires and potentially lose second spot. Blake Kelly. Kelly to the outside. Strong head of steam on the outside. Coming into turn 3. Still door to door mid-corner, but it's going to be Kelly with the advantage off the corner. Kelly with the momentum. They're going to rub doors down the front stretch. Still neck and neck. A little bit of wiggle there for the 7 on the outside. Not going to make it stick. Pulling back alongside in 3 and 4 now. 51's going to get impatient with the 97 and lay a bumper to him coming off of 4. Nadeau doing all he can. The 51 big loose on the inside. It's one truck out of the picture. Now it's just the 97 and the 7. The 97 able to clear as we see the 7 get sideways again off of 4. Behind them, Ed Salles and Josh Emerson. Josh with a big recovery after being spun multiple times. He's back up in the top 5. Salles cannot get the back end of that truck underneath him. Just absolutely sliding everywhere. And he's going to make contact. He's going to door the 73 to the outside in turn 4. I imagine Josh is not going to be happy about that. That 51 has no rear grip left. He's going to slide all the way to the outside, hit the outside wall off of 2, and surrender that spot to the 73 of Josh Emerson again. Out front, still Crank Bell, just barely in front of his teammate in the 97. He blocks high, forces Nadeau to go way up by the fence. No love between teammates tonight. It's all for the glory. No points, no teamwork, nothing to worry about but finishing ahead of second place. Another block. He's going to make Nadeau do it the hard way on the inside. You can see no grip, no rear grip off the corners for the inside. These front drivers last pitted lap 54. If you wondered why they're slipping and sliding, they got nearly 45 lap old tires. As we see caution number 15 come out on lap 94. Devin says 19 cautions. I can have a recount, but we'll see. I'm still only seeing 15, but we'll see at the end of the race. It does feel like 19 cautions, so I'll give him that. Once again under caution, so once again we're going to plug our series sponsor. That's 614 Designs. Zach Miller, our league organizer, also throws out some nice looking iRacing paint schemes, including the one he's running tonight. If I can manage to go back and figure out where he's at. There we go. We've got the Chick-fil-A machine on track tonight. With the Lord's Chicken, as the side panel says. This is it. This might be our final restart of the race. Lights are going to go out on the pace truck. It's going to be Crank Bell leading him. He's going to elect to go to the inside lane. That's a bold move, because if he spins the tires, it might be over for him. I don't think the 7's going to be patient. I don't think the 73 is going to be patient. Both of them have seen a heck of a race in the back, and they probably aren't going to play any games. They want to hurry up and get out front and stay there. Expect to see some bumpers, but it's going to be Bell firing them off. Nadeau spins the tires on the outside just a little bit. Bell's going to clear by half a car length into turn 1. Remember, all these drivers on older tires. Last pitting lap 54. A little bit fresher tires for the 73. We'll see if they work for him or not. Still getting pushed around by the 7 on the inside. Bell out front. 2 to go. Half a car length. No challenge yet. Grabbing position back in the field, but it's going to be the battle between his teammates as we come down to the last lap. White flag is out. Last lap. We see Emerson go to the inside, and Nadeau can't make it stick. Nadeau, will he have a shot through 3 and 4? Gonna send it in. Bell's gonna wash up the hill, but Nadeau can't make it stick. It's gonna be Bell with the win in the main feature here in the All-Star race. Frank Bell getting it done, being steady as can be at the end. In a race absolutely filled with cautions. The number 14 machine takes it home in first place. Teammates gonna do a co-burnout here on the front stretch. Frank Bell, the man from the Volunteer State, getting it done here in North Carolina tonight. And blows the engine for good measure. All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can get our final finishing position. Bring up on the screen for you. All right, there's our results for the All-Star race. Crank Bell bringing it home in first, followed by Kyle Nadeau. Josh Emerson comes back from serious adversity throughout the night to bring that 73 to third place. Zach Laugen, after a spin just a couple restarts ago, gets all the way back up to the 4th spot. Justin Bissett hung in there for 5th spot. Ed Sales came back from, I believe, a lap or 2 down at one point to be back up in the 6th position. Zach Miller, 7th. Devin Maines falls back to the 8th position. Blake Kelly also falls back a few positions in the closing laps, down to 9th. Greg Burchett rounds out the top 10 in the number 31. Sean Sullivan, Alan Blue with a rough end to their night. Barry Knapp as well. Nick Rossi finishes 32 laps down. Randall Peasley and Doug Arterbright both with disconnects. So, not a great night for them, but a great night for this man in the 14. Crank Bell gets it done. We'll see if we can't get him in here for an interview. All right, we're going to bring our second place finisher in here for the moment. All right, for now, we got our second place finisher in the booth here with us. Kyle, it was quite the day of ups and downs for just about everybody. I don't think anyone made it through that race 100% clean. We ended up with about 15 cautions on the day. How did the day go from your standpoint? And was there anything you could have done to get him there at the end, or was he just a little too smooth and had a little too much tire left?
Well, it was rough, that's for sure. After the heat races, I saw it was a full invert. I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be fun. And it's just dodging the minefield, kind of like the track was, I think it was like 135-degree temp. So one touch of the brake, your truck is gone. So it's going to the bottom to avoid wrecks, going to the top. You pick the wrong lane, you have to check up. And towards the end of the race, no, I didn't have anything for crank. The track is a little too tough to pass at with the older asphalt. Maybe on a long run, yeah, but on a short run, no. I had nothing.
Well, throughout the race, I guess you answered my next question as to what the conditions were like out there. We saw most drivers were not able to put the power down. We saw a whole variety of restart conditions. We had some drivers taking the outside, some taking the inside, but we seem to see tire spin on the restarts for just about anywhere that you happen to be in. We saw spins on corner entry, spins off of 4, which I know is easy to do as the track flattens out. Was there anything in particular that you saw that might have been like one of the one of the problem areas? I mean, it looked like there was oil spilled on the track for half the time. I know the entry into 1 seemed to be a problem spot, and the exit of 4. But we saw drivers getting sideways on the straights and everywhere. Is it just, you think it was just that hot and slick that it wasn't necessarily the tires going bad? It was just that slick of a track that you couldn't put power down.
To me, it looked like everybody was kind of running it like Martinsville, where you get to basically the entry of the corner, then you're slowing down. North Wilkesboro, you can't do that because the track is built sideways. Like you're going downhill into turn 1, you're going uphill into turn 3, and you can't run 3 the way you run 1, and you can't run 2 the same way you run 4. So it's just picking where to push and where to not. Yeah, like maybe just a little bit of practice. That probably would have been good, but other than that, it's short track racing.
As Denny Hamlin would say, that's just for short track racing. For sure, that's what we saw tonight, but it was entertaining. Definitely, I guess 15 cautions. I was hoping for an over under guesses from the YouTube chat on how many cautions there'd be, but we hit it right on the head as far as I'm aware of 15 cautions. I think Devin said it might have been more than that, but I'm going by my timing and scoring, which might not be perfect, but I'm pretty sure we had 15 cautions, which is quite a few for just a 100-lap race at a short track. But it was entertaining for us. Hopefully you had a good time, even though we saw you go from back to front several times throughout the race and getting involved in different wrecks, and I saw you had a little bit of body damage at the end. Did that really do anything to you?
No, I think I got that like lap 20. I got drove through on one of the entries and just spun around there. But you know, with how many cautions I figured we were gonna have, the body damage wasn't gonna hurt. And it didn't. Even when we had that little green flag run, I could still hang with crank and almost pass him on a couple times, and I had a hell of a worse looking truck than what he did.
Yeah, for sure. Somehow he managed to keep that thing looking clean the whole night. Him and I believe the 7. So that 7 was a ninja out there dodging some accidents. Blake did a hell of a job getting by a few by mere maybe 2-3 inches. But it was entertaining seeing all the wreck avoidance going on, and unfortunately not so entertaining seeing some guys. I know Alan Blue and a few other guys got involved in about every single one, it seemed like, which was unfortunate. I know it's probably more fun for some guys than others, but you guys overcame the adversity and worked your way back up front, which I wasn't sure was going to happen. Every time I'd see a crack like the top 5, it seems like someone would spin in front of you and you'd lose a couple, but it's good to see you guys get back up there and take a dominating win at the end. Once you got out front, it seemed pretty easy to hold it there. I know that's probably not actually the case because it looked like everyone was driving out of control the whole time. But congrats on second place. I'm going to see if we can track down, track Crank down. Actually, he just backed out, so we might not get him. Yeah, congrats on P2. It was definitely entertaining watching you trying to hold off the horde behind you and also trying to chase him at the same time. It was a pretty awesome race. Hopefully you had fun. How you feeling about Talladega next week?
I'd rather run this track again than Talladega. Oh man, my luck in any league that I run at Talladega is the absolute worst. My one friend had told me, the best place to be out front is the best place to be is out front because you can't get wrecked out front. The next race, the guy in third wrecked, and just the chain reaction, it took me out. I'm like, see how I can get wrecked running first.
Yeah, you might have to adopt a similar strategy tonight. Do all you can to get out front and just try to stay there because that seems to be the only thing that'll keep you safe. But
yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to my parents watching. I love you. I'll see you guys on the weekend, and everyone else watching out there in the universe, and Crank for being an awesome teammate. And yeah, I think that's it. And thank you for broadcasting, Adam.
Absolutely glad to be back doing it again. So thanks for the interview, Kyle. We'll let you go about your night, but congrats on P2 again.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's see if we can maybe get let's try it. Let's see if we can get Blake Kelly in here. Give me just a moment. All right, we got Blake Kelly, driver of the number 7 Sugarland Shine machine. Quite an eventful night. We saw you go back to front several times and make some crazy wreck avoidances. We highlighted one. I think you'll see on the replay if you go back and watch it. It was pretty impressive. It came maybe 2 or 3 inches away from one of the spinning cars, and it was pretty impressive. We saw it definitely happened more than once. But how'd the race go from your point of view? Was there anything you could have done differently, or is it just trying to like Kyle told us earlier, navigate the minefield and hope you don't get blown up?
Yeah, that was pretty much my idea. You never knowed what was going to happen starting in the back, and I was just trying to be pacing myself, just try to avoid all the carnage that happened in front of me, and I don't know how I missed half of it.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a lot of practice. Was there anything that you took away from your heat race that you brought into the feature that helped you out?
Just had to baby throttle. That's all I had to do. That's all I could do. I just give it too much throttle. He felt like he was going to come around.
Yeah, we definitely saw plenty of that throughout the night, and but yeah, you seemed one of the few drivers who kept it underneath you for at least most of the time that we saw as we were looking, following along. Definitely did a good job of throttle control and not overdriving. We saw that was probably the biggest feature of the night, is guys overdriving the corners and overdriving the exits and getting themselves in trouble. I don't think anyone really got beat by other drivers, just beating themselves, but you did a pretty good job there. What happened toward the end there? We didn't catch all of it. I know we saw you knocking on the third place or so, and then we saw you ended up finishing about 8th. What happened in the last few laps there for you?
Yeah, I was knocking on her door, and then I had somebody knocking on mine, and I just ended up getting on the throttle too quick, looped it around. Took out poor Greg and the 5 truck, and I hated that it happened.
Well, I'm sure they're all right with it. It was all for fun. Thankfully, it wasn't a points paying race. But are you going to be around for Talladega next week, and how you feeling about your chances there?
Well, I don't know if I'll be there or not. my schedule's a little hit and miss, but if I do show up, I usually don't finish good there either.
Similar sentiment throughout the field, it seems like, but it'll be fun for us to watch nevertheless. But hopefully we'll see you there. It's been good to have you in a couple races. You've definitely had pace every time you're out on track, and that's awesome to have guys even who aren't able to make the full schedule able to, get in there and mix it up with everybody. So we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I just appreciate y'all giving us another place to race. I've got another league that I run in other days of the week, and I just tried for something a little bit different, just to get a feel for it. And I enjoy racing with y'all so far.
Well, glad to hear, and we hope to see you out on track a few more times before the end of the season. We're about halfway through, but it was fun watching you tonight, and fun watching all the wreck avoidance everyone was doing, really. But we saw a few key ones that you did that were pretty impressive, and you still had a spotless truck at the end of the night, which is impressive, to say the least, given how everyone else looked by the end.
Yeah. I guess that real world experience with enduros helped out on that.
All right, good deal. We appreciate your time, man. I'll let you get back to your night, and thanks for once again for racing with us, and hopefully you enjoy the broadcast if you happen to go back and watch it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All righty, take care. All right, I still don't see our winner. I think he might have logged off for the night, unfortunately, but an exciting race nonetheless. Crank Bell taking home that top spot in the number 14 for the Lemon Lawyers team. So he claims the All-Star title for the inaugural season here, the 280 Truck Series. Good to see him pull off another win after a couple worse races. He fired off the beginning of the season really well, and then had a couple where he didn't finish so well. But it's good to see him back out in winning fashion once again, and this team coming out on top. So we'll hopefully see you next weekend. That'll be Talladega Super Speedway. Probably going to be another bit of a minefield, as drivers have said so far. Going to be a battle to see who can stay out front, and it might even turn into a fuel mileage race at the end. We'll see how that goes. But hopefully we'll see you there tuned in yet again Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, as always. But I'll go ahead and let you all go for the evening, and hopefully see you again next time. Appreciate everyone tuning into the broadcast. If you did enjoy the broadcast, putting a like on that video would be very much appreciated. Give the channel a follow if you haven't already, just so it's easier to find the next time around, and next time we go live. So hopefully we'll see you next week at Talladega Super Speedway. But for now, I've been Adam LaVox here for Faster Horses Media, and until next time, we'll see you.